Good morning. Just wanted to talk this morning a little bit about alcoholism and what it looks like. My name is KP, aka Keisha, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. I have 5 years of sobriety, and I'm just going to talk about alcoholism this morning and what it looks like. I hope you can hear me because where I'm driving, it said that my browser said that it wasn't working, but please let me know if there's an echo if you can't hear me that well. Alcoholism, what does it look like? It looks different on everybody. And there's a lot of shame that comes along with alcoholism. People don't like to talk about it. But if you ask yourself the question, if I drink too much, maybe you're a different type of problem drinker, and it's a progressive disease. A lot of people don't know this, but alcoholism is actually a disease that manifests, and it's a progressive disease. So it might start off a little slow. You might not drink every day, and then it starts to affect you. The way that you can tell that it affects you, the way that you socialize, the way, if you're using it as like a motivator to do things, because, nobody's normal. But when we talk about alcoholism and alcoholics, us alcoholics and people in recovery, we talk about normal drinkers. And when do you realize you are no longer a normal drinker? Well, one of the things that's a good sign is that you feel like you have to do it to do things, to have fun. Maybe you start drinking because you had a bad day. And maybe you'll start drinking and one day you're starting to drink a little bit more because it doesn't affect you the way that it does, the way that it used to. And, I started off, I was introduced to alcohol as a teen, and I can definitely tell you that early drinking, like before you're, what is the word I'm looking for? Underage drinking can definitely lead you towards alcoholism. And denial is another sign of it. If you are out drinking and you're socializing and you're starting to hear about yourself, because me personally, once I start hearing about myself, I was a little defensive. I didn't like hearing about myself and how I act, and people would have to remind me of what I did or how I spoke to people, or if you've ever been around people drinking and they're a little concerned about how much you're drinking because the way you act, that's also a sign. But the first sign is accepting that that you have an issue with alcohol. And a lot of people, they don't want to admit that they have an issue with alcohol until their life becomes unmanageable. That is the first step. My life has become unmanageable, and I am powerless over alcohol. And a lot of people, I remember listening to Father Martin. I love what he said. He said, admitting that you're powerless is actually a powerful thing. But of course, who wants to admit that they're powerless over anything? Because we want to have so much control over everything. But admitting that you're powerless over some things is the first sign of getting towards your victory, of accepting this disease for your mind, body, and spirit. And I go to AA meetings. I have a sponsor, and we work the steps. I've had 2 sponsors, and the first sponsor I had, I worked towards step 4, and a lot of people get stuck on step 4, but I'm starting all over, and I'm still on step 1 actually. Been on step 1 since February. Step 1, admitting you're powerless over alcohol and your life has become unmanageable. And the first homework assignment that my sponsor gave me was to make a list over how alcohol made my life unmanageable in many ways. And, because some people think, oh, I have a job, I don't drink every day, there's nothing wrong with me. No, there's probably nothing wrong with you, but there's something wrong, hey Penny, 216, with your drinking. Ask yourself this: when I drink too much, do I do things that I have to apologize for? Or do I act a little out of character? Or do I feel like I need to use alcohol as a motivator to do things or to have fun? So how has alcohol made your life unmanageable? And once you get to the point of the disease where it's a compulsion, where you can't stop, or you drink too much and you feel like you need to switch brands or take a break, that's a sign as well. A lot of people don't want to stop because it's fun, it's fun. You know what? It's fun until it's not anymore. And that's my story. It was fun until it was not anymore. I've got years and years of stories. Some people think, oh, I'm not an alcoholic because I'm not a blackout. There's no you know. Hey, Dragon. Good morning. And no, people don't like to admit. And just because if you don't have any of these issues, don't worry about it. Maybe you know somebody who might have some of these issues. And if you're one of those family members or friends that have someone in your family that drinks too much, or you don't like how they start to act after they start drinking, just know this: you can't control. Hey, Pastor Keith, you can't control their outcome. The more pressure you put on them, the more they're going to want to drink, or the more they're going to want to lie and hide about their drinking. It's embarrassing to admit that you're powerless over anything. But when you mention that, when you accept that you are, and the first step is accepting that you are powerless over alcohol and that your life has become unmanageable. It's affecting your relationships, your job, it's affecting your and then eventually your body starts breaking down. Your bladder, you can be overweight or underweight, all of the above. Your liver, your kidneys really can get affected by alcoholism and binge drinking. There's many types of drinkers, but a lot of that, what I've just mentioned, ends up, if you keep on drinking the way that you are, you can eventually turn into alcoholism. And There's many ways to treat alcoholism. You can get outside help from a doctor. Some people do that. But me personally, it wasn't until I got on my knees and I surrendered to my higher power of my understanding. I had to surrender to my higher power. My higher power is God. Jesus saved me. My higher power doesn't have to be your higher power. And that's the beauty of the AA program. I love it, even though I know it says, oh, something about press and radio. I am just sharing my experience, strength, and hope. And I was raised in the church since I could even know how to say amen, hallelujah, or, before I knew anything. But the way that you would think that I was raised in a liquor store when I got to be a teenager. You wouldn't even think I knew who God was. It's like drinking poison. Yes, expecting something or someone else to die. Yes, it definitely is just like that. Oh, I'm getting to a point to where I don't know how my audio sounds. I don't know if I keep going in or out. But love and tolerance is our code. And I hope that I can inspire anybody out there that struggles with thinking that they might have a problem with drinking. I hope that I can inspire you to put it down for just today, maybe the next day, maybe let's go to an AA program online, listen to some stories. And if you don't want to do that, ask God to help you. Here's a Serenity Prayer that I've learned. It's very helpful for many things, not just alcoholism. God, grant me the serenity. That's the first part. God, grant me the serenity to accept it. I cannot believe I just almost forgot the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You see how the enemy works? Look at devil, get behind me. I've said the Serenity Prayer for more than 5 years. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I used to break that down and make it personal. God, grant me the serenity with many things in my life, especially when my husband pretty much, he left me. He abandoned me and my children. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot change that he left. The courage to change the things I can. I don't have to drink over it. I can have a positive outcome on my life. And the wisdom to know the difference. The difference is that if I were to drink over my husband leaving me, it would make no difference. I'd still be in the same situation, if not worse. And that's a personal breakdown. That's definitely a personal breakdown of certain things that would make me feel like I was going to go drink or whatever. I hope that my service doesn't go out because I'm telling me how is my service? Is it all right? microphone. Check 1 2 1 2. How is this? Is that better? Please put a 1 in the chat if this is better. Put a 2 in the chat if it's still breaking up. 1 in the chat if it's better. 2 in the chat if it's breaking up. 1 in the chat if it's better. I guess it's not better. Who's got one person? That one person, please let me know if you could hear me. Okay, I'm just gonna have to come back later. But maybe I'll do what I'll do is I'll record something and I'll upload it. Anyways, I'm gonna say this again. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, taking hardships as a pathway to peace, taking this world as Jesus did, as it is, not as I will have it, so that I may be happy in this life and supremely happy forever in the next. Please let me know if this is better. I would love to know if this is better service than it was before. But if not, it's all good. I'm going to see you in the next video. Apologize for the service not being too good. The connection broke up a little bit. But we'll talk about alcoholism and what it looks like. And then